Hello there, all you amazing, crazy people. We're going to do a little bit of a reaction. This is probably not a quick one, but it's from DJ Ware. He made an AI make a video explaining the Linux potential, or let's say here, in this video, I'm exploring the depth of AI to attempt to generate a video which explains how Linux can be used to develop software, create artwork, create videos, create video content, and record audio. Normally a tall order for even a human to explain, not really. I will go into why this is not just a Linux thing. You can do that on any platform. Anyway, and there is and here is the AI assistant tells how Linux can help us. So this is really interesting. It's like a 1-minute video. So you're going to watch the video, and then I'm going to critique the AI, or going to listen to I haven't watched this video, but I'm going to see what the AI think is why you can unleash your creativity with Linux. And then I'm going to explain to you that you can unleash your creativity on a fucking toaster. So let's go into it here.
In a world where creativity meets technology, Linux stands as a beacon of endless possibilities. Imagine developing software with ease, using tools that spark innovation. Visualize creating artwork that captures the essence of your imagination, using applications that breathe life into your designs. Feel the rhythm of making videos that tell stories, using software that makes editing a breeze. Hear the harmony of recording audio that resonates within, using utilities that capture the soul of sound. This is the power of Linux, a platform that doesn't just facilitate creativity, but inspires it. It's not just an operating system, it's a canvas where technology and artistry blend seamlessly. So if you're looking to develop, create, or record, remember, Linux is more than a choice. It's a journey into a world where the only limit is your imagination. Welcome to the realm of Linux, where your ideas come alive.
Yeah, so no, any professional video editor or prominent YouTuber that know just a little bit about creativity know that you can't just go and buy, let's say, a Blackmagic cam and using DaVinci Resolve under Linux with no issue whatsoever. There is a reason why most creative people don't use Linux, okay? And that is because a lot of the format that you are using as a creative person is not supported or done really well under Linux. That's just one of the things, like the codecs, the formats, and then we have Linux not being able to communicate correctly or as efficiently with the hardware, the webcams, the cameras, the recorders, the peripherals. You know, most professional developers, or not developers, creative people, if they're video editing, they're not using this here. They are using a purposely built video editing software with a lot of not software, but peripheral, with a lot of buttons, wheels, and levers and levers, or what you will call them, all over the wazoo. A lot of those don't work under Linux. Then we're going over to the creative people. This is a Wacom tablet. That probably works well under Linux, but there's also really, really advanced other non-Wacom tablets that creative artists use that don't work that well, or all the features are not supported under Linux. Let's go to the software. Linux is really great at rendering, but it's not really great at video editing. That's a misconception a lot of people have. They're like, oh, well, Hollywood and all of these people are using Linux. Yeah, they use Linux in the back end to render special effects and stuff like that. They don't sit and dedicate edit on it. Some do, but most don't. Even DaVinci Resolve that is supported under Linux don't run that well under Linux. You need to have kind of purposely built hardware for it. If you're using AMD, you're like shit out of luck. Even with NVIDIA, depending on your card and whatnot, you can have a big fucking issue. And then there's the stability. DaVinci Resolve is what I've heard on the internet. I have not used DaVinci Resolve in a long time on Linux, but DaVinci Resolve seems to be more stable on non-Linux platform. Heck, most video editing software seems to be way more stable on non-Linux platforms. Then we have Krita, really good entry-level to immediate level artist program. We have GIMP, really good beginner, entry-level, intermediate photo editing software. Yes, you can use it professionally, but most people don't, and I'll get into that in a second. You get what I'm saying here. There is a reason why people use Photoshop. There is a reason why people use the big, massive, corporate, proprietary software. It does the job better. Not only does it the job better in the most cases, Adobe suites, other kind of suites, if you're using PaintShop Pro and all that, they are really good at doing something that Linux is really bad at project sharing and project management. You can share projects, you can work on the same projects within the Adobe suite. Basically look at the backend. Adobe give you access to stock photos, stock videos, publications, and all of those things which game creators don't do. And Photoshop's not the only one doing it. So people don't just buy Photoshop or use Adobe Premiere or use not After Effects, what is it called? The one on Apple. I can't fucking remember for the life of me what the video editors are called from Apple. They don't use those just because, you know, they are good at video editing. It's the stability and the backend, the support, and etc., etc. I know this is an AI-generated video, but here's the thing. This is what Linux users are telling you. I bet this AI used the internet as a source for this information. So it probably scattered the internet. What are people saying about Linux and creativity, and then put it together? It didn't show any Linux-specific tools here because there's not many Linux-specific tools for creative people. I am a heavily creative people. I make YouTube, I draw quite a lot, and I've done it since I was a kid. I love creative work, I love being creative. Maybe I should make a channel about being creative. And I have never found it as convenient and as easy to be creative on Linux as on the Windows or Mac OS. So alone that there is this high barrier on Linux, and there is all of these incompatibility, instabilities, lack of lack of features that you get in other places, mean that being creative on Linux is actually really fucking difficult. It's not undoable, it's just massively more difficult. And as I say to a lot of my Linux people is that, yes, you can do a lot of things on Linux, but you have to ask yourself this. Do you want to spend 30% more time of your day making sure you can do the thing you want to do under Linux versus not spending 30% of your time making sure that you can work under Linux? If you are doing anything under Linux, there is I call it the Linux tax. You will and have to expect that you have to do some crazy shit at some point. Programs crashes, not all of them, but a lot of them, especially big software suites like photo editing software and stuff like, they are not as stable as a lot of the other competitors on the other side of the spectrum, like Photoshop and etc., or Premiere Pro and blah blah blah. It's like Kdenlive is notorious, an unstable mess. And then you have to think, most creative people, they use a bunch of fucking plugins, like a lot of plugins, and a lot of them don't work, support, or are even available under Linux, and even third-party ones don't exist under Linux. If you want to talk creative from a from a software standpoint, you can code the same program on any platform you want. There is no limitation on any platform for you to code whatever you want. You can code whatever software under whatever license you want on any OS you want. It does make sense that if you're coding for Linux, why not code for Linux under Linux, okay? If you're coding for Windows, why not code on a Windows machine for Windows? It makes testing and stuff like that way more easy and compatible and compliant. Like, I see a lot of hardcore Linux people be like, yeah, I'm doing this C# for my Windows server or Windows computers, and then they're running Windows in a VM to code for Windows and test for Windows so they can say they run Linux. It makes no fucking sense. If your job is to be a Windows coder, code on a Windows machine. Nobody gives a fuck about you swinging your Linux stick around, okay? Just code on a Windows machine. If you're doing Linux stuff, coding for Linux, code on a Linux box. Don't sit there on your Windows machine and run Ubuntu and VMs and stuff. You could use Windows subsystem for Linux nowadays. But back in the day, there were Windows hardcore boys and girls that ran Linux in a VM because they were not going to deviate from Windows. That's the only limitation I would say that's out there. Code on the platform that you're coding for. And you don't even need to do that. It just makes sense. But if you think that you cannot do anything creative unless you're on Linux, or Linux is this like golden child of being the most freedom fries loving piece of software or OS out there that is the only one that unleashes your creativity. Honestly, I would say Linux is hindering it for the previous mentioned statements, but let's just pretend the footing was equal. You could do the same thing on every OS in the world. The OS is not the limitations of your creativity. It's you. The AI got this from the internet. This is what people are saying. And then it just made, a summary of what the consensus are about this on the internet and put it out there. AI are not fucking smart. AI didn't sit and watch all DJ Ware's videos and all Chris Tyler's text videos and all DistroTube's videos and read like thousands of blog posts to make its own individual independent decision. It just looked at what are people saying the most, or what is the biggest consent about Linux and creativity, and then it made this video here. It's not even its own independent thoughts putting into it. It's just accumulations of the what are the Linux fanboys or the Linux community saying. That's what this is. It's just a summary of what every Linux YouTuber are saying out there. I might as well just go on to a DistroTube video and read the comment section about creativity. It would be saying the same fucking shit. It's almost word for word. That's the limitations of AI. I hate this fucking thing about people putting AI on this pedestal. AI is almost as stupid as a goldfish. It just seems magical because you don't understand what's going on. And we don't spend a lot of time explaining what's going on. So it's this magical thing, and because it's magical and it seems like it's not computer-esque language, this sounds and look like a human have done it, but it's imitation. That's all it is. It's imitation. AI is imitation. A really, really good example that I use a lot at work. Do I have anything with letters on? Yeah, I have this Karl Lagerfeld. Really, it's not good. It's an okay audio-to-let fragment. You read this. You understand the context of these letter words put together. You understand the context of what this is and classic gray, the name and all that shit. If you're talking about AI, it has no fucking idea what this is. It just knows that it looks like this. It has these letters and numbers, and then it's compared to other shit that's out there on the internet or database. And it's like, okay, well, according to how the way this is put together, it has to be this within a set amount of certainty. Like, I can say a toddler knows this is a word, podcast. It has no concept of it. That's the same with AI. It knows it's a word. It knows a P for AI is not a P, it's just a picture with pixels looking like that, and it's like referring that P to other pictures of P's, and it's like, okay, within like an 80% certainty, these pixels put together this way equals this letter here. That's all it knows. You have to remember that when you see stuff like this. So all we are seeing here is basically just a parrot of the Linux community. And AI drives me nuts, to be honest, with these kind of things. But anyway, what I want you to take away from this, before you go angry and calling me a Linux hater, even though I use Linux all day, every day. Not all day, but every day. You have to remember this. Unleash creativity with Linux. No. You can unleash the creativity on any platform with anything. If you want to be creative on pen or paper, go nuts. Don't blame the paper or the pen for you not being creative. That's basically what we're doing here if we're saying that you can only unleash your creativity with Linux. And not only is it misleading a lot of things with Linux, because a lot of the things that it was talking about is blatantly wrong and false. The video equipment it showed there probably don't even fucking work with Linux. The editing peripherals it showed probably don't work with Linux. It just took some stock images, stock videos, and put it together, basically. So it's highly misleading. But unless you are in that environment yourself, you don't know it. So if someone saw this, and you could call this an advertisement, and this is nothing against DJ Ware, it's just AI I'm talking about right now. If someone saw this, they're like, fuck yeah, I'm going Linux all the way. And then they buy all of these expensive peripherals, and they don't work. They buy all of these expensive software, don't work. They buy all these expensive, high-value production, Hollywood-created video recording things, don't work under Linux. Now Linux has not unleashed my creative potential. It actually have put a stop in front of my creative potential. See you all later. Bye-bye.